Hey friends, it's Alina, and in this video we are going to be talking about 5 things you need to know about the February 2021 full moon in Virgo. So if that's something that interests you, then let's get started. Y'all, what is up? What is good? Oh my goodness, we made it through the first of 3 Mercury retrogrades as of February 20th. We're getting more grounding energy from this powerful Virgo full moon with that earth sign energy coming into play. We have Venus going into Pisces and moving from the less emotionally distant Aquarius and into the more emotionally in touch Pisces. So a lot of very interesting shifts, a lot of relief if you are really feeling the Mercury retrograde. By the way, my cat is meowing in the back, but we're gonna keep going. And yeah, so if any of that interests you, then let's go ahead and get started. So why is this full moon so important? As you may or may not already know, the full moon is seen as the halfway point in the lunar cycle, with it starting with a new moon and ending with another new moon. It's almost seen as a point of culmination as the light is building in the sky. Almost symbolically, it represents our sort of momentum building on any new projects we might have started at the beginning of the new moon, maybe the beginning of the year, or in our life in general. And it's an illuminating time, acting as a cosmic spotlight to kind of really highlight what has and hasn't been working for you. This is one of the reasons why you often see in full moon rituals, people are writing out what no longer serves them and burning them to kind of energetically, emotionally, and symbolically release them. Y'all already know I'm gonna say it. This can be done with the Auralign planner, which is my creation and astrology planner that has dedicated full and new moon ritual pages. Also, even outside of that, if you don't want to get into that, I also have a full video talking about how to do a full moon ritual. So if that interests you, it'll be up on the screen and in the video description. If you were feeling the Aquarius stellium, that being where we had 6 astral bodies in the sign of Aquarius, maybe you were feeling the Aquarius Mercury retrograde, or maybe even the Saturn-Uranus square that happened on February 17th, this full moon in the earth sign of Virgo is going to be such a grounding energy, a more of a relief to help you really get clear on things that have to do with creating order, having to do with your home life, getting balanced. So we're going to be diving a little bit into this, but all of that to say, this full moon is really going to help to bring us back down to earth in a good way. Also, this week we are having Mercury go direct. Or actually last week we had Mercury go direct, so we're going to start really feeling that more balanced feeling in the air, which will be really good. Next, what are some transits that will impact this full moon? Getting more specific about striking a balance with work, organization, and holding space for our mental, spiritual health. That will really be coming from the moon, which is in the sign of Virgo, squaring off with the sun, which will be in the sign of Pisces, as this is Pisces season. So you might see some themes, events, or situations that spark that reflection and kind of bringing more clarity into how you balance your life. Coming off of this more airy, less organized, and maybe less balanced time of this Aquarius Mercury retrograde, all of these air signs coming in, Virgo is really giving us that grounded energy to get more organized and get more structured with our workflow, maybe even in our homes. But on the flip side, we're looking at and being called to, from a Pisces energy perspective, also see how we can balance all of that organization and groundedness with holding space for our emotions and holding space for how we're feeling in this moment. On February 17th, we experienced the first of 3 squaring offs between Saturn and Uranus. And these specific square offs are usually associated with historical moments in history. It's usually a time where you see opposing sides between old structures and dichotomies and paradigms in society squaring off with more progressive and innovative ways of thinking to kind of push society and the world forward. Now, when you think of that in relation to the fact that we are entering this age of Aquarius, where there's more equitability, there is more collaboration, community efforts to make things better for everyone as a whole, rather than everyone at the top hoarding everything, just more equitability, more collaboration, information exchange. It's no surprise to see that this transit is happening. So this is all something, while it can feel stressful in the moment, looking at it from an astrological perspective, it really is the beginning of change. As of February 20th, we have officially left Mercury retrograde, and we have survived arguably probably one of the most challenging retrogrades of the three that will happen this year, all in air signs, as this retrograde happened in the sign of Aquarius during an Aquarius stellium with a lot of amplified energy going on there. So kudos to all y'all, kudos to us for making it through. And even though in this next week or so we are still going to be in the post-retrograde sort of shadow period, we can definitely expect clear communication and a lot more just clear thinking and sense of groundedness, which, by the way, we'll get into later in the video. And finally, in terms of transits, we have Venus shifting from the more creative, innovative, and oftentimes emotionally sort of detached sign of Aquarius over to the more emotional, gentle, and just open-hearted sign of Pisces. And this can be a very fruitful catalyst to deeper emotional understanding. And especially in our love life, this can really bring out the inner romantic. And again, we'll dive deeper into this later in this video. So next is, what should we expect? So while full moons are already a time that can bring heightened energy, the full moon is already a culmination time. It's a high energy time. It doesn't necessarily always mean something negative, but it's always important to be careful. And all of that to say, with it being in this sign of Virgo, it's bringing a lot more of a powerful grounded energy, which will hopefully really balance all of that out. Now is a great time to get organized. If you feel called to organize your home, maybe start nesting and really creating sanctuaries for yourself where you can really connect to your higher self. Create systems so that when things outside of your home, outside of your work might get chaotic, or even within, you have these routines, you have these spaces that help you feel a little bit more grounded. And with everything going out of retrograde, you should expect better communication. If you've been holding off on creating new partnerships, business deals, you can start to look into those things. You can start into making those announcements, doing those launches. And hopefully you should feel like your schedule is a little bit more manageable with this Virgo energy coming into play. As well, with Venus being the planet of love, shifting from the more air sign of Aquarius to the water sign of Pisces on February 25th, we can definitely expect a subtle shift that can impact our relationships. Now, on one side, this can be really positive. It can turn us into a hopeless romantic, maybe make us feel a little bit more in touch with our emotions when it comes to relationships that we're already in, or new budding relationships, meeting new people. And so that's one side of it. The other side of it, the emotions of maybe frustration, anger, upset, sadness, loneliness, we can experience those negative emotions, but they can be powerful catalysts to dive deeper and understand where they stem from. Oftentimes, heightened emotions are a reflection of the fact that we are feeling an overflow of something, and we need to really get to the root of it. That way we can calm the storm. So understanding the dichotomy of that is very important, but we're definitely seeing more of the grounding positive aspect of those things. Next, how do we harness this energy? How do we ride these Virgo, Aquarius, just Saturn, Uranus opposing waves? So first things first, with this full moon in Virgo opposing the sun in Pisces, we are really being called to understand that it is possible to be organized, to be goal-oriented, while also holding space for our emotions, our mental health, and our spiritual health. So really looking into how you can maintain that balance. What does it look like? Literally journaling out, what does it look like for me to be on my ish, to be there doing the dang thing, doing my job, excelling in the ways that I can, doing what I can, what is in my control in this moment, to show up and be organized in ways that are aligned with my goals, while also holding space for my mental health. Do we have a time where we hold space for all of the different thoughts that might be rattling in our heads from one moment to the next? Do we have some type of boundary with our phones? That way we can really get grounded and present in the moment. Those are the themes going on right now, and exploring that for yourself can be incredibly fruitful during this full moon period. Now, with Venus entering the sign of Pisces on February 25th, now is a great time to let your inner romantic, just be unleashed and have fun. And it's also a reminder of avoiding bottling up your emotions. Some of the blow ups that might happen during this full moon could be linked with bottling in your emotions. That Sun Pisces energy is not letting that happen right now, and letting the tears flow sometimes, letting the words flow in talk therapy, in a safe space with a loved one, in a journal, really allowing yourself to articulate and bring out what you might have been holding in is going to be very fruitful during this time. All right, y'all, we made it to the end of the video. If you did, be sure to comment 3 earth emojis to let me know that you made it, or comment if you've already been feeling this full moon energy. As soon as I got home from my travels, all I've been focusing on is just like cleaning the house, getting grounded, because I almost felt like how you might feel when you have coffee and you haven't eaten and you just feel kind of buzzy and almost like you're just almost ascending. Because I'm in all air signs, in, you know, sun, moon, rising, and so many placements in my charts, I feel like I really felt these air signs a lot. So anyway, I'm talking a lot, but if you've experienced any of those things, or maybe the opposite depending on your placement, comment below. Let's start a conversation, because when you engage with my videos, you're essentially telling the YouTube algorithm that not only you enjoy content like this, but it also helps me, a small but growing creator, continue to grow. And with all of that said, I will leave you with my favorite quote, and that is, be gentle with yourself, because life is about the journey and not the destination. All right, friends, I'll see you in the next one.